Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yes, today I have another awesome recipe for you. We are going to make a creamy spinach and feta quiche. I'm getting hungry just by looking at this video. So let's head on to the kitchen and start preparing the crust. First we'll start off with 2 cups cake flour. And then we'll add 60 ml grapeseed oil. Stir in the oil with your little spoon. Then we'll add 1/2 to 1 cup of lukewarm water. Just adding and checking as you go. The dough shouldn't be too wet or too dry. If your dough turned out too wet, which sometimes happens, you can just add in a little bit of cake flour. When it becomes stiff and kneadable, then you know it's right. Now we can knead it for 10 minutes until it turns out smooth and elastic. Oh, and remember to add 1 teaspoon of salt in the beginning with the dry ingredients. As you can see here, I forgot. But it's okay, we all make little mistakes sometimes. Now punch the dough down. Now all we need to do next is cover it with some plastic wrap and then place it in the fridge to cool down for 2 hours. As you can see, our dough is ready. I usually let the dough rest for about 10 minutes until it is room temperature. Dough is just then easier to work with. Now we can go to our workspace and sprinkle it with flour. Don't be shy, you can use a generous amount. Here's our dough. I'll sprinkle a little flour on top. Now we need to roll out the dough until about 5 mm thick. Remember to put some muscle into it. Now let's take a 25 cm pie dish and place it on top of the dough. Let's see if it's large enough. Yes, it is. Now I'll demonstrate an easy way how to get the dough into the pie pan. I call it the folding method. Ta-da! Now this works much better than trying to lift all the dough up and tearing it. Okay, now see I'm just patting down the dough and pressing in the sides to make sure the dough is spread out evenly everywhere. Now I just grab my trusty scissors and cut it off the excess dough. Now let's poke a lot of holes in the dough. The holes actually do serve a purpose. They prevent bubbles from forming inside the dough while it's baking. Yay! Our crust is almost done. Now we can just pop it in the oven. I would recommend you keep an eye on it while it is baking because sometimes it makes bubbles. So if it makes bubbles, you can just poke at it with a fork until it deflates. Bake at 200 Celsius in the preheated oven for 10 to 15 minutes. It looks great. Now we can move on to the filling. Grab your pan and add in 1 teaspoon coconut oil. Now let's get the cutting board and 1 onion. I'm just gonna cut mine in half because somehow I only had ginormous onions, but you can use a normal size onion. Now let's cut the onion into small pieces. And yes, I was careful not to cut my fingers. There we go. Now let's add it to the coconut oil. Now we're gonna cook the onions until they are soft and translucent. About 8 minutes. Oh, and here is something I realized. You know, I always wondered why chefs shake their pans when they cook. Well, it turns out it evens out the stuff that's in the pan, so they cook evenly. Cool, now you know. Add the onion pieces to the pie crust. Just remember to let the onions cool down before you add them, else the dough will become soggy. Now we can just even out the onions. Now on to the next topping. We will need to grate 80 grams cheddar cheese. Sprinkle the shredded cheese over the top. Scatter 300 grams frozen chopped spinach evenly over your cheesies. Then add some salt and pepper to taste. Next we're gonna add 100 grams crumbled feta cheese. Great, it looks amazing so far. Next let's make the rest of the filling. Find yourselves a medium-sized bowl and then add in 4 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, a pinchy of ground nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Add in your 1 cup of heavy cream. Now let's whisk it with our whisk. And pour it evenly and beautifully over our almost completed quiche. We know it as a French cuisine when it actually originated in Germany. The word quiche comes from the German word, I hope I'm saying it right, Kuchen or Kuchen, meaning cake. Now let's just place it in the oven and bake it in a preheated oven at 165 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes. I am so happy with this quiche. It came out just as I hoped it would. Once it's out of the oven, you are ready to slice and serve. And impress your family and friends. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the video and what you want me to make next. As always, thanks for watching and keep smiling. I'll see you guys next time.